Imagine a little black girl standing barefoot outside a golden mansion gate, clutching a tattered lunchbox with nothing but stale bread inside. Her voice trembles as she calls out, "Sir, will you trade your leftovers for a miracle?" The paralyzed millionaire inside scoffs from his custom wheelchair, thinking it's a joke. But what happens next flips his life upside down, exposes a buried past, and triggers a miracle so unbelievable even science can't explain it. Don't scroll. This story will move your soul and remind you why faith, kindness, and truth can change everything. Stick to the end and hit that subscribe button now if you believe in. Second, it was one of those days when the sky looked like it had forgotten how to shine. Gray and silent, clouds hovering like secrets waiting to spill. In the heart of a wealthy American suburb, fenced by marble lions and electric gates, a black girl no older than 10 stood with dirt on her knees, her sneakers falling apart, and her eyes filled with a kind of hope that could both break and rebuild hearts. Her name was Zariah. She wasn't from around there, just a kid who wandered the back roads of the city with her baby brother in tow, scavenging for leftovers from restaurants and praying each day they'd get through the night. That morning, she had nothing in her lunchbox except stale bread and one grape. Her baby brother Malachi hadn't eaten in 2 days, and when she passed the Thornberry estate, the biggest, grandest mansion in the county, she saw trays of uneaten gourmet food being tossed into bins by the dozen. Her stomach growled. Her hands shook. But more than hunger, it was desperation that pushed her past the security cameras, past the warning signs, up to the towering gate where a man sat in silence behind tinted glass watching her. His name was Elias Thornberry, a millionaire turned recluse, paralyzed from the waist down after a tragic ski accident 6 years ago. He hadn't spoken to anyone but his nurses in months. But when Zariah cupped her mouth and called out in a shaky voice, "Trade your leftovers for a miracle," Elias laughed. A bitter, mocking laugh that echoed through the intercom like thunder cracking through dry bones. He wheeled to the window, saw the girl's bony arms and sunken cheeks, and said, "You think a miracle's gonna fix this?" He gestured at his lifeless legs. "Go beg somewhere else." But Zariah didn't budge. She reached into her pocket, pulled out something small and shiny, and held it up. "My mama gave me this stone," she said. "She said it's not just a stone, it's what helped her walk again when the doctors gave up. She called it her miracle. Before she died, she told me it only works if you give it to someone who truly doesn't believe anymore." Elias scoffed again, but something about her eyes, those eyes that had seen more pain than most grown men, made him pause. With a smirk, he buzzed open the gate. "Fine, come in. Let's see this miracle stone of yours. In exchange, you get all the leftovers you can carry." Zariah grinned wide like sunshine breaking through storm clouds. She stepped in, holding the small glowing stone tightly. It was oddly warm, vibrating almost. Elias noticed, but brushed it off as imagination. Over the next hour, Zariah and Malachi ate like royalty while Elias asked her questions he never thought he'd care about. "Where are your parents? Why do you believe in miracles? Why me?" She answered with soft stories about her mama singing lullabies while coughing blood, how they lived in shelters, and how she believed miracles were just kindness plus faith. As night fell, Elias let them sleep in the garden house, his first act of compassion in years. But the next morning, something unimaginable happened. Elias woke up and felt his toes. Panicked, he called his nurse. She tested him. Reflexes were returning. By noon, he could lift his left leg an inch. Doctors rushed in, baffled, calling it spontaneous neurological reconnection, something with 1,000,000 to 1 odds. Elias was stunned. The stone sat on his nightstand, still warm, and Zariah? She just smiled and whispered, "Told you." Word spread like wildfire. News vans parked outside. But behind the cameras and the fame, Something deeper stirred inside Elias, a memory, one he buried long ago. A girl named Felicia, a black girl from his past. His first love before he became rich, before he let his ambition and racist father tear them apart. She'd been pregnant. She vanished after a scandal, now staring at Zariah's face. The eyes, the smile, Elias's heart raced. A DNA test confirmed it. Felicia had given birth. Zariah was his granddaughter. And he'd nearly turned her away. Devastated and ashamed, Elias broke down. He held her hand and promised, "You'll never go hungry again." But just as peace settled in, a twist no one saw coming shattered everything. His younger brother Victor, greedy and jealous, tried to have Zariah taken into state custody. Claiming Elias was being manipulated, a legal war erupted. Elias fought back with everything. He exposed Victor's embezzlement, his ties to racist hate groups, and even leaked proof that Victor had tampered with his medical files to keep him paralyzed and out of the company. It turned into a public scandal. The judge, visibly moved, awarded Elias full guardianship over Zariah and Malachi. But the miracles didn't stop there. Inspired by Zariah's bravery, Elias opened a foundation, Zariah's Light, to help homeless children and medically neglected families across the country. He began walking again, slowly but surely, one step at a time. The stone? Scientists tested it. No explanation. Some called it spiritual. Others called it divine. But Zariah just smiled and said, "It only works if you believe in something bigger than yourself." Today, she stands beside Elias on stages around the world, telling her story of how a poor, hungry black girl asked for a trade and ended up healing not just a man's legs, but his heart, soul, and legacy. So if you've ever felt broken, lost, or doubted the power of a small act of faith, remember Zariah. And before you scroll, subscribe. Because sometimes the smallest voices carry the loudest miracles.